Five Talk is a production of Desert Voice Media. You can visit desertvoice.media to learn more.
915 TALK.
The world is looking at El Paso.
What will we say to the world? From the KELP studio in El Paso, this is 915 Talk.
And now your host,
Episode 213 of 915 Talk. Good afternoon, beautiful citizens of the borderland. This is 915 Talk. I'm your host, Andy Fracca. Today we're with Mac Daddy Del Norte. Mac Daddy Del Norte, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good, Andy. How about yourself?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
Why is that?
I don't know. Sometimes I worry. But to answer your question, I must confess that my vocabulary is painfully poverty-stricken to describe this wonderful educational journey that we've embarked upon, Mac Daddy Del Norte.
Yes.
And on this educational journey, what are we learning?
On this education? Oh, well, about everything, about our borderland.
We're learning to... You've been here this is episode 213, Mac Daddy Del Norte. We're learning to...
Had a brain for it.
We're learning to love
our city, love our neighbors, give God all the glory.
Yeah, see, thank you, Mac
My
Daddy
bad.
Del Norte. We are on an educational journey. We're learning to love our city. So riddle me this, Mac Daddy Del Norte.
Okay.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Good question. You know what? I love El Paso.
Oh.
This is exactly where I would live.
A true El Pasoan, a man in whom there is no guile. Mac Daddy Del Norte, a true patriot of his hometown.
Yes. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I love El Paso.
This is where you say, where would you like to live, Andy?
Oh, where would you like to live, Andy?
Oh, thanks for asking, Mac Daddy Del Norte. I would like to live in the center of God's will. Oh, surprised you didn't know that. But if it were pleasing unto him, and it would bring him glory, I'd like a place with mountains.
Wow.
I like a place with some ocean, a place with some rivers, a place that provides all temperate zones whenever I want them.
Oh, sounds like heaven.
I mean, it sounds like the Canary Islands.
Canary Islands.
Or Hawaii. You can, drive up the mountain from the down by the ocean. I also want there to be a lot of city.
Okay.
But not a city with too many people, because people can get to be irritating. There are so many things I want. And I want to kind of be in the city, but not close to too many people.
Okay.
And also, I want it to be a city with all the amenities, but no traffic.
Wow.
That's what I want.
Wow.
Does that sound like a good place?
It sounds like a good place.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about learning to love our city. Because that's what we do each and every day. We learn a little bit more on this educational journey. And we have a very special guest with us.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why he's special, Mac Daddy?
Yeah, definitely, because he is the unique expression of an endlessly creative God.
Oh, that's true. He is the unique expression of an endlessly creative God.
Yes.
Also, he is someone himself who I think has been on a journey to learn to love his hometown of El Paso. Also, you might recognize his voice. He's featured each and every day at 12:30 p.m. on this radio station for the Better News radio broadcast.
Nice.
He's also the pastor. I think it's the lead pastor. Senior pastors like what they used to say. He's the lead pastor over at Cross of Grace Church. So we have a lot to talk about. He's a guest we've had almost every month on this program. It's always a lot of fun. Last time we talked about, we dressed up like Santa Claus.
That is so true.
And we learned about jolly old St. Nicholas. But this time we're going to learn about loving our city. So without further ado, let's give a very warm Borderland welcome, the one, the only, Pastor Ricky Alcantar. Pastor Ricky, welcome back.
Oh, bro, it is such a privilege to be back. I love this radio station, and I love this program, particularly as it relates to the topic we're talking about today, about the city of El Paso.
Yes.
Because there's so few places in media that you just sit down for long-form interviews with people from our borderland, that are frontera people, and that you just get to hear from Christians and others and hear what's going on. And so I love it. It's a privilege, man.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting. I believe, I hope, I pray that this program will not only inform our committed long-term audience, but it will be an example to the city at large that the church cares about the city.
That's right. Yeah,
So-
absolutely, man. And I think that it's interesting. So I had this weird experience. I think I texted it to you this week where
Yes.
on a walk, on a whim, I recorded this quick 30-second or whatever, 1 minute, Instagram thing, basically saying, hey, I grew up here in El Paso. I wanted to leave.
Right.
There's all these things I saw. El Paso doesn't have a bigger mall like Dallas.
Right.
It doesn't have a sports team like Phoenix, whatever. And
Right.
But yet God showed me that there are always things to be grateful for are right around us. First Thessalonians says to always, to rejoice always and to give thanks in all circumstances, meaning wherever you are, look around. There are reasons to rejoice and things to thank God for, which applies to your city as well.
For sure.
And so I was on a journey, and so I just shared, hey, I'm on this journey that I've learned to love El Paso.
Yeah.
And I think too many times we miss the good things about El Paso. So anyway, I just was one of those things you throw out like,
Just a pastoral thought, just trying to create some engagement. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, we're just trying to say, hey guys, God's put you here for a reason.
Sure.
There are reasons to rejoice.
Yeah.
Love your city. But strangely, bro, it took me 30 seconds to do. It became, I think it might be the most popular thing I've ever put on social media.
Except for when you were on the night show.
On
With,
Conan O'Brien's show.
Yeah. With was it a moose?
Yes, with the moose. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. But
That's not what we're talking about
But that's
today.
somebody. I mean, that's Conan O'Brien, right?
Yeah,
This
okay.
is just me with
your social
I'm out on a
media.
walk.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So I want to give you the numbers on this because it was basically about how I love El Paso.
Okay.
And I think it says something. So it caused a reaction on Instagram, and 44,000 people in climbing have seen the post.
Okay.
And 2,500 people liked the post.
Okay.
So they saw it and were like, yes, I like El Paso.
Okay.
Had over 100 comments.
Or I like this guy who likes El Paso.
Yeah, or they like something. Maybe they liked the jacket I had on or something. I don't
Sure.
think that's what it is. And got like 100 comments. And here's what's funny. Here's what I want to talk about. This is why I think it'd be a good discussion. People started fighting in the comments.
You know, the best thing in the world, the most satisfying thing is when you. That's not true. I'm exaggerating, but it is fun to create something on social media and see people argue about it.
Well, and it's so funny because I just thought
Probably not super spiritual, not biblical, but it is fun.
all I was saying is, hey, I've learned to love El Paso. I think people should love El Paso. I think there's always something to be thankful for.
Sure.
And some people are going, yes, absolutely, 100% agree with this. And then there were, let's just call them gently, some haters.
Okay.
If I could say that, some people going, hey, what about this? Or what about this? Or what
Yeah.
about this? So
Yeah.
I thought
They're
it was,
like El Paso does not have an ocean.
yes, they're pointing out all kinds of things. So do you want me to give you a flavor of some of the comments we got? Or how do you want to do this, Andy?
Absolutely.
Yes?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, including Andy and I have a personal favorite comment that we'll get to.
Yeah.
And it'll introduce this topic. So
Yes.
if you're just joining us on the radio, we're talking about people disagreeing about whether El Paso is wonderful or terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's just a flavor. One person says, I left El Paso for 26 years. I came back, and at first I was missing DFW, but now 6 years later, I'm glad for the slower pace. I'm getting back to my roots. Love that. Another person says, I was born and raised here in El Paso. I traveled to other cities. I've been to the ocean, all beautiful, but El Paso is home, a beautiful place. I agree. There's always something to be thankful for. I love my city. Another person, Bianca, says, our Sun City is beautiful in its own ways. Many just don't see it because they don't go out and explore what this city has to offer.
Yeah.
And yeah, now they were not all positive. So lots of people say they loved El Paso. And here's a real comment. They say their husband and them just relocated from California to El Paso, and it's been difficult, and they've been trying to think about moving out. But just recently, this person says, I think I've been hearing God's whispers, paying attention to what he wants, God's will, and I'm willing to open my eyes and ears and heart to listen to why God's keeping us here.
Right.
Right? So that's just a real struggle. So it's not for everywhere. Somebody quoted the show Seinfeld with the joke, El Paso, I spent a month there one night. That's a Jerry Seinfeld line. So I could clock that.
Right.
Okay, I think I got it. Now, a bunch of people raise legitimate issues. Like they need higher paying jobs.
Or they need water at their house.
Or they need water at their house. They did somebody comment about that. So they're like, hey, I need a higher paying job.
Yeah.
Or I need a bunch of people brought up property taxes.
Yeah.
In which case I say amen, because I'm a property owner.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
feeling that. Some people said the drivers are a problem. And so you know who you are if you're out there.
If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
Yeah. A lot of people, here's the thing, a lot of people are driving probably while they listen to this. So don't be one of those El Pasoans, guys.
That's right.
Now, but here's our favorite comment. Andy immediately found this and we said it back and forth. There's a brother who will retain his anonymity.
Yes.
That commented when I was talking about how you just got to learn to look on the positive and you got to learn to love what's in front of you.
Yeah.
He says, my grandma gave me the same lecture when girls said I was ugly. It's so bad. Oh, bro.
Yeah.
That brother, I feel like we need to care for or counsel that brother.
So Pastor Ricky, just a pastoral moment. Is this someone in your flock?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh man. So you get the flavor, right?
Right.
You get lots of people saying they absolutely love it. You get people saying I was away and I came back and I love it. You get people saying I'm not from here, but I learned to love this place.
Yeah.
But then you get a lot of people basically just expressing frustration. I'm frustrated with somebody here saying all the bars and liquor stores on every corner, all of the drunk driving incidents that we tend to have, all of the legitimate issues that perhaps the city infrastructure or city have. And so it raised the question for me, how should Christians, because this is the key, how should Christians think about their city?
Yeah.
Because I do think the Bible says a lot about how Christians in particular are meant to think about their city. But maybe we pause here, Andy, and just get a little bit of your story here, because I can share my stories in El Pasoan.
Right.
But
you are a true son of the borderland.
But you were not born here.
I was not born here.
And you were kind of suddenly relocated by the Lord here.
Yes.
And so what is the journey? Maybe you go first and represent all the people that have found themselves in El Paso.
Right.
And then I'll share
Yeah,
El Paso.
and I think that's important to just make that point that there are two types of people. There's more than two.
Sure.
But there are people who are true sons of the borderland, like you and Mac Daddy.
Come on.
And then there are people who relocated here, often for military or work, or often for love. Just their significant other was from El Paso. And so they just kind of ended up here. And of course, it's a different experience, it's a different background, a different context, a different way of looking at things. For me, the first time I came to El Paso, I was 17 years old. And I had been, I'll make a long story short.
Yeah.
When I was 17, I went on a trip around the United States with my best friend the day after I graduated from high school. And we drove in a Dodge Aries. You probably don't know what that is.
Come on, man.
From Ohio to Seattle, Seattle down the coast to LA. And we were dumb teenagers, no cell phone, no GPS.
Oh, my goodness.
1994.
Wow.
And we were driving south down 101 towards LA, and we were trying to decide if we were going to drive to the Grand Canyon or New Orleans.
Okay. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, we were crazy. And we decided that we were not going to make a plan. We were just going to drive to LA and go left.
Oh my goodness.
That was our whole plan. Again, we're 17 years old.
Yep.
And we went left, and we were on I-10. And it was, I believe, June 13th, 1994. We could look it up on the internet. It was one of the hottest days in El Paso history.
Oh, my goodness.
It was 113 degrees. My car was overheating. And somewhere in my 17-year-old brain, I remember that you can get heat off the engine by turning on the heat. So I turn on the heater in the car, mind you, triple digits.
Oh, my goodness.
And then there was a sandstorm.
Oh, no.
And I'd never seen anything like this in my life. I'd never been to the desert like this in my life. And so I rolled up the windows.
Okay.
So 113 degrees.
Okay.
Heat on, windows up.
You're going to die. You're not going to make it.
We were dead. I mean, and so we're driving just as fast as we can to get through the desert. And we stopped in El Paso, on the east side of town. Went into we were at a truck stop. I went to a payphone, called back to Ohio, and I said, I'm never coming back to this city ever again.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I thought it was so funny. 6 years later, I met my wife, Rachel, in 1995. 6 years later, in 2000, 1994, 1995, 2000, when I found myself at St. Clement's Church in El Paso getting married. I said I was never coming back.
Oh, my
and here
goodness.
I am getting married.
Oh, my goodness.
So funny.
That's great.
But immediately we left.
Yep.
And then, long story short, we were 23 years in Russia. We had to leave Russia very quickly. We ended up back in El Paso. And it wasn't like as funny the second time.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, what happened? Like, this wasn't part of the plan. We're here in this city. And the story our family often tells is we were living in Moscow, which is a world-class cosmopolitan city.
Oh, sure.
Just 80% of the wealth in the nation of Russia is in that city.
Wow.
250 subway stations, I believe. Not a speck of dirt anywhere. Just these massive parks, culture, all these things, and a great life. And here we are in El Paso, where we were very generously offered a house to rent close to Memorial Park. And my sons, we've been there like a day. They're like, well, let's do what we did in Moscow. Let's go for a walk. And so they went for a walk down Copia.
Oh, man. That's fun.
To a 7-Eleven, the 7-Eleven on the corner of Copia, Montana.
Shout out if you're listening.
Across from Food King.
It's
a whole vibe.
It's a vibe.
And they came back and they were like, they asked a very simple question. What is this?
What is this?
And it was extreme culture shock. And it was, why are we here? All those different things we wrestled through.
Yeah.
And at the time I was trying to put food on the table. So I was offering, solar panels door to door, just walking around town like, what is this place?
Yeah.
And really struggling.
Sure.
And so it was a journey.
Oh, man. And you're probably sitting there thinking, what am I supposed to do here? How do I relate to the city? You just got suddenly dropped into the middle of it.
Yeah.
And you're having to figure that out. And it's funny, I had the opposite reaction or situation because I grew up here in El Paso.
Sure.
But I never imagined that I would stay here long term.
And so, it absolutely. And it was a struggle for me because the first 11 years we were in Russia, we were in a city that I just fell in love with right away. And it makes no sense why I fell in love with that city. It's an industrial city. It's freezing cold. Nothing spectacular about it, really.
Yeah.
But I just loved it. And when we moved to Moscow, the Bible verse, Ricky, that came to mind when I was there in Moscow was John 3:16. For God so loved the world. And I looked at that and I thought, the world? I understand why God would love me.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I'm a pretty good guy.
Sure.
Of course I'm joking a little bit, but I think we can understand why God would love us.
Sure.
And we can kind of understand why God would love our loved ones. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at the city and you see the corruption, you see the pride, the clamor for attention, for money, all of those things, you're like, God, you love all these people.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was challenged by was, I think a lot of times we think of where God's love is the greatest is up in the mountain next to a lake,
sure.
under some trees.
Yep.
But God's love is greatest in the middle of the city because it's full of people that He died for.
For image bearers.
Yes, and so that's
beautiful,
That's
Eddie.
really what I went through.
Yeah.
I went through that in Moscow. It wasn't an easy thing, but here I am but I chose to go to Moscow.
Sure.
And here I am in a situation that I didn't choose.
That's right.
And I'm like,
Sometimes that's harder
I
to
know the
trust
right
God.
answer.
Yeah.
I know the right answer, but how am I going to fall in love with this place? And so
That's good, man.
And so what I did is I started a radio show. And I'm like, each and every weekday afternoon,
Brilliant.
we're going to learn to love our city.
Brilliant.
Little bit at a
So
time.
this is
We're
for
gonna
you.
love it. Yeah.
This radio show is for
100%.
you,
It's all about me.
No. I got to just recently spend some time with you and your wife. You guys do really love this place as a
Yeah,
family, and
for
the
sure.
Lord's grown that heart in a beautiful way. And I'm coming at it from the opposite angle, like I referenced, where I grew up in El Paso, always thought I was going to leave.
Yeah.
And when you're a teenager, you start to think, oh, I wish we had malls like in Dallas. I wish we had the Spurs. I wish we had, this or that. I wish we had a Disneyland. I wish we had an ocean.
Yeah.
And whatever you're thinking of when
Yeah.
you're a teenager.
Sure.
And also, I'll just be honest that this is not something I could share quickly on social media, but I felt like I was a mismatch identity-wise for El Paso, because I didn't feel like I wasn't Mexican, but our family was Hispanic, but we weren't just Hispanic. We were like,
Well, that's interesting. I want to speak into that,
Yeah.
Ricky, because
Yeah.
your family is die-in-the-wool El Paso.
sure, yeah,
But you still felt like...
yeah, and
Imagine how I felt, Ricky.
well, and it's funny because in many ways now, I think, well, that's so weird, but I think a lot of people will go through a season where they just feel like I just don't fit in. I don't know how I fit in.
Sort of an identity crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ethnically and and spiritually and is this where I'm supposed to be? I loved big cities at that time. I didn't love smaller cities like El Paso. And the Lord really had to do a work, and you shared the verse that God used when you went to Moscow, but one of the ways that God changed my heart was when I was studying for ministry I was in a class on church planting. Okay. And in the class on church planting, I remember the instructor, this author teacher, Dave Harvey, who's out, he does a bunch of good teaching. He shared Matthew 9, and he actually took us out onto the grass. He was like, it's too nice a day. We're all going to go out in the grass. So we got out of the classroom. We're out in the grass. And he read this verse. Jesus went throughout all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction. And listen to this. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. And he basically challenged us to see places and cities not through the lens of what we can get out of them, but see cities the way Jesus does, and sees the crowds and the needs of the crowds actually drawing us toward the city rather than pushing away from it.
Sure.
And Tim Keller, who did a bunch of work on Christian views of city, has this great comment that a lot of times Christians will either see cities as a vehicle for their own fulfillment or an obstacle for their fulfillment.
Oh, interesting.
And that's the predominant reaction most people fall into. So either they think it's a vehicle for my fulfillment, like I'm going to move to the big city, move to LA, move to New York, move to Dallas, make lots of money, get what I want. This city is my vehicle for fulfillment.
Yeah.
Or it's an obstacle.
Right.
I don't like this place. I got to get out of this place. This place is what's wrong with my life. This place is what's holding me back.
Right.
And so Keller's comment is, it's only when you see the city in terms of service that you think, this is not a vehicle for my fulfillment. This is not an obstacle to my fulfillment. I receive what I need from Jesus. I'm safe in Jesus. Therefore, I'm going to love the city and totally see it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things. I think I I don't know, the balance point of this is Jesus went into desolate places.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
as you're making the point, he didn't stay there
Right.
permanently.
That's
he didn't
right.
spend his entire adult life out in the wilderness.
That's right.
He would go out there. He would get refilled. He would spend time with the Father, time in prayer, probably get some rest. But then he went right back to it.
Yeah.
And this idea that you don't just do one or the other.
That's right. That's right. Well, and there's that other great passage in Jeremiah, which is another paradigm for how to view the city for me, that has shaped a lot of my ministry. So in Jeremiah, God's people are just like you, Andy. That should encourage you. Maybe this is for you today. Transplanted from a city they chose or wanted to be into a totally different city, into the middle of Babylon.
Yes.
And in the middle of Babylon, they face that choice between, do we assimilate into the city?
Right.
Do we just become Babylonians? Or do we not have anything to do with the city? Do we hold back and say, nope, we're not going to participate in anything?
Right.
But it was clear that God had brought them to the city. And so God encourages them this way in Jeremiah 29. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. God is saying, you're there because I've sent you there.
Right.
Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage. Multiply there, don't decrease. And seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find your welfare.
Yeah, and so I have to say this. We have the KELP radio app, and people can message the studio through the app.
Yeah.
We've got 2 messages. One of them, I think, was for me, never say never, for my time in El Paso.
That's true, brother.
And just literally 2 minutes ago, and God told Jeremiah / Andy, build houses. And so... I love that passage. That's actually the passage that I read, and the Lord began speaking to me about this radio station.
Wow.
Because when you get to the city you've been exiled to, sometimes you end up in a situation you didn't ask for, but you look at this: build houses, plant gardens, give your sons and daughters in marriage. Wherever you are, invest in that place.
That's right. That's right.
Look at the long term.
That's right. Well, and I love that it's not short term. It's not, well, live there for this week or this month.
Sure.
Like if you're building a house, you're planning to live in that house.
Yeah.
And I love also the language of seeking the welfare or the shalom of the city where I've sent you to exile, because in its peace you'll find your peace. In its welfare you'll find your welfare.
Yeah.
Which I think is beautiful, because I think if Christian, notice the irony, when Christians are aimed at their own happiness, they don't get their own happiness, and they usually don't make anything else around them better, because they're just selfish and inward.
Right.
But when Christians aim at service,
Yeah.
they find themselves strangely fulfilled in pursuing what God has in front of them.
Right.
And actually, they're a blessing not only to others around them, but themselves in the end.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's this strange relationship. So, maybe if you're listening today and you're thinking, okay, I have a complicated relationship with the city of El Paso. Maybe you're like Andy and you're like, I don't want to be here.
My relationship status with El Paso is complicated.
It's complicated. Or maybe you grew up like me and you think, I just don't know if I fit here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here.
Sure.
I think if I got out, and here's the thing I think for so many people, they think if I just was in a different place, then the things in my life would be fixed.
Yeah.
Which is not the case, because usually your biggest problems in life you carry with you to the next city.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so because
moving
they're
to Dallas is not going to fix you. You're going to be there.
Yeah, you will still be there. And so I think that's great. Now, I know we're going to take a break in a minute, but on the other side, I've got some quick tips in terms of learning how to love your city.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's anything you want to say.
Yeah. I love all of this, Ricky. I think it's an important conversation. When we talk about categories of people, which isn't fair, but one of the things I noticed when I moved to El Paso is in the church in El Paso, there's a good percentage of people who are just doing their time
Oh, wow.
and just waiting to be released
Yeah.
to move somewhere else.
Okay. Sure.
And you better start serving today. Don't just wait for the next thing.
That's right, man.
And I think that's kind of what you're pointing at. And again, that's, in my view, a lot of what Jeremiah 29 is about is, again, investing in the long term and not just waiting for the next thing. And for me personally, it was, I'm selling solar panels for a year and a half.
Yeah.
A part of my life I would love to forget.
Yeah.
And I was just praying every day. Part of the prayer was, what did I do wrong to deserve this? Which probably wasn't the right prayer. But the other thing was, I think, God, you have something else for me.
Yeah.
But God was using that time for preparation. I got to know El Paso.
That's good, man.
As I was knocking on hundreds of doors every week, sitting with people on their couches, going through their situation. You get to know people very well when you begin pulling their credit score.
That's right.
And turns out things aren't as happy and fun and everything else as maybe they made it out to be in that first interaction, and just really getting to know people and where they're at. And God really showed me a lot of the need in the city. So wherever someone's at, just keep your ear to the ground, listen to what God's saying, but don't miss the opportunity that he has for you today.
Amen.
If you're just joining us, we're with
So
Pastor
good.
Ricky Alcantar. He's over at Cross of Grace Church. He's on the Better News radio broadcast each and every day at 12:30 on this radio station. We're talking about learning to love El Paso. But we do have Charlie One on the phone. Charlie One, what are you seeing out on the roads this afternoon?
A few things here, Andy. First of all, I want to cover the crashes that are going on. Let's go to the east side for this one. Joe Battle and Montwood, very busy intersection to have a crash here. So PD at the scene, traffic is kind of congested here, Joe Battle and Montwood. Then we go to McRae and Falkirk, a crash occurring there. PD at the scene, there's going to be PD activity here, McRae and Falkirk. On the west side, Magay and Rio Flor on a wreck, so caution there. Freeway's okay, exception being I-10 West, the Trans Mountain, Los Mochis area, because they take away the right lane. A lot of construction going on there in the Upper Valley, but what that does is you're single file here, I-10 West, Trans Mountain, Los Mochis, even Artcraft area, single file going through there, very slow moving traffic there. Randy, back to you.
Charlie One, today in the studio we have with us Pastor Ricky of Cross of Grace Church. We're talking about learning to love El Paso. And at the beginning of this show, one of the things that we say in the intro each and every day is the world is looking at El Paso. What will we say to the world? Charlie One, you're a true El Pasoan. If you could tell the world one thing about El Paso, what would that be?
I'd say the weather. I would say the weather because, it's once in a while we might get a dust storm or something. But I've been here all my life, which is 100 years. And that's, now I'm an old guy, but I've been here all my life. Well, I was born in Los Angeles, but moved here. And the reason we moved here when I was 4 years old, there was an earthquake there. My mom just didn't like earthquakes.
Oh, wow.
So we moved to El Paso. But El Paso, we don't have earthquakes. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have tornadoes. God is with us, or God, just smiles upon us. And
Sure.
And I just, the weather in the winters are not too harsh. Might be a little bit cold for my bones, but it's like today, 65, 67 for a high. It's in the middle of January, so it's I would say the weather, and then pretty much the people also, because the people are really nice here.
Sure.
They're very down to earth people here, and very I would say very God-fearing people. People here, they're not prejudiced here like they are in some parts of the U.S. and the world. They're very prejudiced. Here, no. Here, they're nice people here. That's what I would say.
I love it. We need to let the world know what Charlie One has to say about El Paso. Love all those points. I think we need to put a sign, when people enter El Paso, welcome to El Paso. Our earthquakes are smaller than California's.
That's right.
That's right. Much smaller.
Yeah.
Thank
So, Charlie One, who's our sponsor for today's traffic?
Well, and I want to get to Menudo because I've been talking about Menudo at different places, but this one place that I know, Eastside Choice Meats there at Lomaland and Traywood, what they do is they package the Menudo, they have it there refrigerated, but all you have to do, and it's very delicious Menudo, all you got to do is at your own convenience. You don't have to, it's not a sit-down place.
Right.
You take it home and watch television or whatever you do at home, but you take the Menudo home, and they have it in two different sizes, and very delicious, homemade Menudo, and just packaged right there, and you take it home and enjoy it at home, and Eastside Choice Meats, Loma Land and Traywood, and you get that menudo 7 days a week.
Okay. Let's get this straight. This is a new Charlie One sponsor, East Choice Meats, on the corner of Loma Land and Traywood.
Loma Land and Traywood. Loma Land and Traywood, Eastside Choice.
So what you do is you pull up to East Choice Meats any day of the week. You get your package of menudo, and then you take it home.
It's in a jar.
It's in a jar.
There.
Okay.
Two
Perfect.
different sizes.
great.
And take it home and warm it up in your microwave oven, wherever you want to warm it up in, and delicious, very nice.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Charlie One. We'll talk soon.
You bet. You bet.
All right. And we're back with Pastor Ricky. We're talking about learning to love El Paso. Charlie One just kind of waxed poetic there for a moment, Pastor Ricky.
That's great. Well, and it's amazing because I've heard Charlie One for years. I've heard the traffic reports for years. I love that guy. And just to hear him say, he's from L.A., but he came to El Paso with his family, and he loves it here, and it's where he's made his home. I think it's great. I think everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And the question is not, did God want you to be in El Paso? The question is, what is God doing by putting you in El Paso?
Sure.
Right? Same thing.
Okay.
Like whenever God doesn't accidentally put anyone anywhere.
Right.
People are sent where God wants them to be sent.
Yeah.
Right. And so just think about this, guys, out of all of history and of all the places in the world, God chose to send you here and now.
Right.
Because if you are in Christ, he has a purpose and a plan for you.
Yeah.
And I think if you start with that assumption, it totally changes the conversation about your city. Because, it may be that God calls you or moves you or something like that. But right here, right now.
Yeah, today. Yeah.
The Lord has a purpose for you.
Yeah, and Ricky, I was a part of a mission for many years. I have taught in many mission schools throughout the world over the years. And one of the things I always taught was wherever you are, serve the Lord there. Because what would happen very often in these missionary schools is they would pray about where to go on an outreach. And for example, it would be like Turkey, and that's where they're going. But there was one person on the team that thought they were supposed to go somewhere else.
Okay.
And so the message was, wherever you end up, serve, and God will bless you in that. And I had to go through a reminder myself of exactly what you're saying. And the other thing that comes to mind as you're talking is very often as Christians, we will, I'm going to say sort of flippantly say this, there are no coincidences with God. There are no mistakes. But then sometimes, well, except for the really big thing about where I live.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. Well, and Jim, it's funny, you're almost doing a paraphrase of Jim Elliot. So Jim Elliot famously said, wherever you are, be all there.
Oh, wow. Love that.
And so just the idea that it's easy for us to almost, like you just said, and especially as Christians, almost be disconnected from the city around us rather than being fully at that office or in that neighborhood or in that extended family.
Yeah.
And so if I could, I would love to offer a couple categories.
Yeah, absolutely.
For how to think about the city. So
Of 5 Steps to Loving El Paso by Pastor Ricky.
yeah, I don't have 5, so I'll have to add some real quick here. But the first thing I would say is I'm going to give you 2 things to cultivate, I think biblically cultivate a love for, and then one thing that's a challenge and a way to view that challenge rightly. And then if we have time, I'm just going to give you my favorite things about El Paso.
All right. Yeah,
if
absolutely.
we have time for it.
Absolutely.
But a couple categories biblically. So I polled my staff at Cross of Grace. And in our staff meetings today, I made everybody answer, what do they love about this place, these people, this area, and what's one thing they could change? Okay. So I got a whole pile of, questions, and some are from El Paso, some are transplants, one's from Buffalo, one's from California, one's from the South. We're from all over. And one of the most common threads is people love the natural beauty of our area, which I think is amazing because it's actually very biblical. And so
Okay.
I think many Christians, they think, well, I just like the weather. I like the sunset. That's not very biblical. That's superficial. No. Psalm 19 says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There's no speech, nor are there words whose voice is not heard. Their voice goes out throughout all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. And what Psalm 19 is saying is there is a speech coming forth from creation that speaks of who God is and speaks of the reality of God. And so one of the things I would encourage people to do is cultivate a love for the beauty that God has made in our area. Now, here's where that can be a challenge. Sometimes people will come to El Paso and they'll have a checklist of things that they think are beautiful, and they're like, well, you don't have that. So, for example, they'll go, do you have a beach? Nope. Do you have big leafy green trees? Nope. Do you have giant rolling fields of grass? Nope. Do you have, I don't know what it would be. Do you have tropical plants with beautiful, multicolored leaves? Nope. And so they kind of will take a list to El Paso and go, well, you don't have any of the natural beauty things I normally like.
Yeah, so that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because I pulled this up. Mark Twain said, comparison is the death of joy.
Yes.
Theodore Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of joy, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The thief of happiness. And it was really hard for me, really, that part when I came to El Paso.
Yeah.
I was like, it's brown.
It's the main color, main palette there.
And I did not see any green, and I was trying.
Yeah, you're like, where is it?
Yeah. I was really, really trying, and now it's interesting. And the fact that in 2025 we had more rain did help a bit. But it is interesting. It took me about 1.5 years, 2 years to really begin to see the beauty, because I love going on hikes. My kids love going on hikes with me, and we go for a hike, and it's like, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Exactly.
And so now we're starting to understand.
Yeah.
But you have to slow down and see it kind of through different eyes.
Yeah, the question, like the Psalm 19 question is, where do I hear creation glorifying God or speaking about God? And one of the things is you don't hear some things from other places, but I have found the desert to be strangely beautiful. I think one of the things is that the beauty of the desert is unlike any other beauty. We have had over the years British friends who will come to the Southwest, like El Paso, New Mexico, and just be utterly fascinated because there's nothing like it in England.
Yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
yeah.
And so they're fascinated. They want to just stay in the Southwest. And it's particularly the sunsets and sunrises and the way the entire landscape changes and takes on different colors during the morning or the afternoon. Is
Right.
unreal. The monsoon season's super unique. The way that the day after one rain, it seems like everything's blooming in 24 hours.
Well, it's interesting when you're talking about how the way El Paso looks is biblical. I thought you were just going to say, like, well, most of the Bible is in a desert. I thought that's where you were going with that. But it is interesting how, like Christmas, we just came out of the Christmas season. We think Christmas should look like a Norwegian Yuletide.
That's right.
I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know why we decided that, but that's not what it looked like for Jesus.
Exactly. And Jesus, John the Baptist, Elijah, the children of Israel for 40 years. It was all desert scenes.
Yep.
So I've reminded myself of that a lot, and just this idea that in the desolate places, that's where Jesus would go. That's where John the Baptist went, and the Spirit would meet with him there. And here we are. So let's take advantage of that.
Well, I remember a guy that was into rock climbing, like bouldering, out at Waco Tanks.
Yeah.
Say one time, the strange thing about El Paso is it has some of the best hiking, bouldering, trail stuff, mountain biking,
right,
in the U.S.
Sure.
Within El Paso itself, like you could get off work and go climb the Franklin Mountains.
Right.
Or you could get off work and go to Waco Tanks
Right.
and get some of the best bouldering in the entire North America.
Right.
It's the greatest concentration of natural beauty and natural sort of trails and things that the fewest number of people take advantage of. Meaning, like, if you live here, you're like, yeah. Have you ever been to Waco? No. Have you ever been bouldering? No. You've been mountain biking? No. And so part of it is actually getting out and spending time in creation is a beautiful thing. And then you just think, okay, you draw a circle around El Paso, the 3 or 4 hours around us.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Carlsbad, you've got White Sands, you've got Big Bend, we're going to the Gila this spring with my boys. Like,
love the Gila.
You could go to Aguirre Springs in the Oregon Mountains, which is my favorite hike in the area, less than an hour away. You'll be around trees. All of a sudden, you'll be back in the desert. It's unbelievable. So that's my first tip. Learn to cultivate a love for the natural beauty here.
Yeah,
Not from other places, not comparing it to other places, but hearing the voice of the Lord here.
Yeah, so I have to jump in there because when we came, we were intentional about finding out where trails are, finding out where people go. There's, on social media, there are people who go around and visit these things, and you can at least get a 15-second quick video on what it might look like.
Yeah.
And my boys would be like, well, what's going to be there? And I said, well, we'll find out when we get there. And then we'll know if we like this place and we want to come back again or not.
That's good. That's good.
And we just want to get the lay of the land. And you mentioned the Gila. We've fallen in love with the Gila. We think it's amazing. We go there whenever we can. We went up to Guadalupe over Christmas break, up McKittrick Canyon, a nice hike up there. It's actually stunning.
Yeah.
That hike.
Yeah.
And so it does require a little bit of effort and intentionality, but I love that.
Well, and part of it is, you're resting in the natural beauty that God's created so that you can be a good servant to the city.
Right.
And that's one of the challenges is if you're like, I'm just trying to serve, but you're not resting, you're not experiencing the Lord in his creation. It's hard to get charged up. So it's the first thing. The second thing is we talk about nature. Now let's talk about people. So Psalm 139 says this about the psalmist is saying this about himself, but it applies to every single human being made in God's image. The psalmist says, "For you formed my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well." And one of the things that tells us about every single human being is that they are an image bearer of God, made in God's image, fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And so one of the things is I heard over and over from my staff is they love the people of El Paso, especially from the people that were from other parts of the country. They were just like, one of them said they were from another area of the country. They said they moved here and all of a sudden they just felt at home. They're just like, it feels like people are just welcoming me into their family.
Right.
And so that's something. And then, so you want to cultivate a love for this specific people in the cubicle next to you, in the house next to you, in the apartment above you, in the family down the street you always see at the park. Get to know them. Get to know their stories. They are made in the image of God. And as you know your neighbors, you'll see the fingerprints of God, which I think is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The people recently on this program, we had the lead FBI agent investigator for the Walmart shooting.
Oh, yeah.
One of the darkest days, or probably the darkest day in El Paso history. And he was talking about when that happened, one of the quote unquote problems they had was all of El Paso tried to go to Walmart to help. And it was like, he was like, it was a problem because they're not trained, they don't have the resources, the skills, whatever, and they didn't know what to do, but they were showing up with water, all this. And he said for days afterwards, the investigation is ongoing. There were at least 100 people the entire time just kind of standing watch from the parking lot that's back behind the Walmart at Cielo Vista.
Wow.
And he's like, it's amazing, the people.
Wow. Well, I think that's beautiful. That's very much El Paso, man. And then when the other thing I'll point out is when those people get together, they create culture. And not every part of culture, of El Paso's culture or any culture around the world, perfectly reflects the Lord. Every culture has strengths and weaknesses in terms of how much what parts of God's design it reflects and exemplifies, which parts it doesn't, and need to be corrected by the gospel and the Bible and adjusted.
Right.
But there are beautiful parts. This is what the scriptures would say. If everyone is made in the image of God, the culture they create will in some ways reflect God and his goodness and who he is. Now, doesn't mean we don't need to preach the gospel. We need to absolutely do that. But I'm just talking about loving your city. And so here's it's funny, my dad is, who's been on this program, is over tonight at La Nube because they just got recognized as one of the most outstanding children's museums in the world.
Wow.
So there's a prestigious honor that this is a worldwide children's museum honor from Europe and everywhere else.
Yeah.
And there are only 3 museums in United States on this list of worldwide like excellence children's museums. And La Nube is one of them.
Yeah.
It was just added. And so they're celebrating tonight. And so
that's very cool.
There are things
very cool.
in our city, like going downtown at Christmas and seeing the plaza filled up and live music there and people just celebrating together.
Yeah.
Like there are beautiful parts of El Paso culture. Now, again, if you're like, well, but I'm from this culture and there's not that.
Right.
I love this kind of music. We don't have a lot of that. I love this thing and we don't have a lot of that. Brother, sister, maybe you learn to love some of what the Lord has placed here. Maybe you learn to see the fingerprints of God in the people and the culture around you.
Sure.
And go from there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I would, of course, we're Christian radio. We're going to say, go to church.
Yes.
Absolutely. Go to Bible study. Become part of whatever kind of small group your church has. Get involved in a ministry. And I'm going to jump on top of that and say, also, check out a Chihuahuas game.
Yeah.
A Locos game. I've been to a Rhinos game. It's a riot.
Come on, man.
These
guys are awesome.
When there's so much effort put into making downtown beautiful during what you just mentioned, Christmas season, go down there, go for a walk, check it out, celebrate that. Up in Las Cruces, there's Old Mesilla. What a cool little place to walk around for an afternoon.
That's right.
All these little things, let's enjoy them. Let's get out.
Well, and I think if you're missing that, I think you're missing what God has for you, and that may be one of the reasons the season is hard. Because the Lord says in 1 Thessalonians to give thanks in all, at all times. You're not giving thanks because you don't see anything to give thanks for, but there's beauties and people around you. I know at least that much.
Right.
Now, the other thing I would just say, just to speak to briefly, is there are a lot of broken parts of our city. There's fatherlessness. There's drinking issues. There are economic challenges.
So we just I'm going to jump in here. We just had a listener write in talking about the drain problem of the youth.
Yep.
And just asking this question: do you see this in your youth ministry?
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to add a question to that. What would you say to the young people in your church?
Oh man, it's a great question. Well, one thing I would say is what Jeremiah 29 says, which is if God's put you here, your default should be asking, maybe the Lord's put me here for a reason. Maybe I should stay and make a gospel impact on the place that God has already placed me. Now, it doesn't mean you can't explore, you can't go somewhere else, but I would look hard first at where the Lord already has for you. I wanted to get out for many years. Now, I do think it's a problem, just an economic reality, that college-educated jobs are harder to come by in El Paso.
Right.
And jobs that pay a certain level or above
Yeah.
can be harder to come by in El Paso.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change until enough people stay and invest enough to change it.
Yeah, I mean, my teenage sons were unable to find jobs.
Yep.
Period. And it is hard to find jobs in the city that are pay a good amount. On the other hand, one of the recurring themes on this program is how easy it is to make a successful business in El Paso as compared to a lot of other cities.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's kind of one of those things. If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
Yeah.
So how can we as the church create businesses that will create better paying jobs?
Well, and I would also just say be smart about what you study and what jobs you pursue. Because if you just are dead set on a career, you believe God's called you to El Paso, but you get all your training for a career that is going to take you elsewhere. That's just not smart. So,
marine biology.
yeah, exactly. Marine biology. I would love, because I think it answers this listener's question, Andy, love to read this quote.
Absolutely.
From a British author, G.K. Chesterton, who is talking about this depressed area where he was from called Pimlico. So I'm going to change Pimlico to El Paso and read you this quote just so it lands, because we're like, what's Pimlico? I don't know. I don't know what that is either. But he talks about basically exactly what we're talking about, investing in the place that God has put you. So he says this, let's suppose we're confronted with a desperate thing like Pimlico or El Paso. If we think what is really best for El Paso, we shall find the thread of thought leads to the throne of the mystic and the arbitrary. It's not enough for a man to disapprove of El Paso. In that case, he'll merely cut his throat or move away.
Oh, wow.
Nor certainly is it enough for a man to approve of El Paso, for then it will just remain El Paso, which may be awful. The only way out of it seems to be, here's what he means to say, it seems to be for somebody to love El Paso. To love it with a transcendental tie and without earthly reason, meaning loving it because of divine purpose. If there arose a man who loved El Paso, then El Paso would rise into ivory towers and golden pinnacles. If men loved El Paso like mothers love children because it is theirs, El Paso in a year or two might be fairer than Florence. Some readers might say that this is mere fantasy. I answer that this is the history of mankind. This is how cities did grow great. Go back to the darkest roots of civilization. You'll find them knotted around some sacred stone or some sacred well. People first paid honor to a spot and afterwards gained glory for her. And here's the last thing. Men did not love Rome because she was great. She was great because they had loved her. And I think the same thing is true of El Paso. We shouldn't love El Paso because it's great. Rather, El Paso can be great because we love
it.
Love it.
Yeah. Wow. So much to unpack there. That was G.K. Chesterton.
Yes.
We only have a minute left, Ricky. I don't know what to say. You kind of did a mic drop moment there.
So I'm going to read my mic drop list of what I love about El Paso as we go out.
All right, let's do it. Pastor Ricky from Cross the Grace Church.
I love the way it smells after rain in the summer. I love the sound of a basketball on the court of the Don Haskins Center. I love the moment every afternoon or every evening the mountains turn purple and gold. I love the guy that walks around the restaurant selling asadero cheese out of a backpack. I love a hot dog hot off the grill at Album Park while the kids play nearby. I love an order of Chico's tacos eaten after 11 p.m. I love the way a cold soda and a hamburger from Whataburger hit after a long morning of yard work. I love the first flauta bite crunch. I love the guy in army gear riding a Harley Davidson blasting AC/DC at the stoplight next to me. I love El Paso.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Pastor Ricky. We continue on this journey, this educational journey of learning to love our city. And I hope that we as the church will be inspired by, first of all, the life of Christ, but also those around us who are serving, and be inspired to lead in our love for this city. Thank you for coming in.
Amen.
As we always say, let's learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory. This has been 915 Talk. You have been listening to 915 Talk, a production of Desert Voice Media. To listen to this or any previous edition of 915 Talk, just visit desertvoice.media and click on the 915 Talk link. Let's continue to learn to love our city, love our neighbors, and give God all the glory.